Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So over the last few days, we've been covering this Kendrick Perkins LeBron James thing where LeBron has unfollowed Kendrick Perkins on social media, and it comes after years of Kendrick Perkins going on these sports platforms advocating for LeBron as the GOAT. Him and Shannon Sharpe have sort of been at the forefront of people who've been supporting LeBron James. Now, Perk has played LeBron in AAU, graduated in 2003 with LeBron James from high school. Not the same school, but just the same year, same McDonald's All-American class, all that, right? So they had a relationship that extended far beyond all the business that got involved. And maybe this is why LeBron feels a little slighted when Kendrick Perkins says something, but Perk is trying to make his brand on not being bought. And it seemed like that for a while. Some of the things he would say about LeBron James. Many thought Perk was clutch early on, but as time has gone on, Perk and Shannon Sharpe have been saying more and more things about LeBron that's not necessarily in his favor. And many speculate after the podcast with Redick came out, people kind of been letting or unloading on Bron a little bit more. And Shannon even took a shot at the podcast today. So we're going to look at what Perk had to say and what Shannon had to say, and I'll be back. Let's peep it.
Imagine unfollowing me on Twitter, but you still got to wake up and watch me on TV every day because I ain't going nowhere anytime soon. That's number one. Number two, I think LeBron James got sensitive over the last couple weeks because I've been calling him out or have to speak on certain things that he may disagree with, like the firing of Darvin Ham or the coaching search for the Lakers, or even having to touch on the Bronny James situation when it comes down to dealing with the draft. At the end of the day, everyone on this television, including USA, because you and I over the last 3 years, and Molly, you can contest to this, we have been going back and forth, and name me somebody, probably other than Shannon, that has been coming on here lobbying and defending for LeBron James like I have been on the basketball side of things.
That's totally true.
And a few times that I disagree with you, you get in your feelings, and you don't pick up the phone and hit me up or send me a text. And you know the disappointing part about it is that I get a call or text from Rich Paul. Bron, I've been knowing you since 1999, brother. We played AAU basketball together. We played against each other in AAU basketball. We played in the McDonald's All-American game together. We was in the same draft. Like, you have my phone number. Like, if you had a problem with anything I said, and we could have picked up the phone and had a conversation. But instead, you took to the pub. You knew the world was going to see it eventually that you unfollowed me because they have all these stalkers that have their stuff on alert that, I don't know how, like, we're living in weird times. No, seriously, ain't that crazy? That you can unfollow somebody and it sends an alert to somebody to let the world know that you unfollowed them. We're living in weird times at the moment.
I know you said that he and JJ had that podcast, Mind the Game, and it's supposed to be X's and O's. Let me tell you something. If you ever want to start a podcast, and this is what I tell Stephen A., you got to be able to adapt. You got to be able to branch out. Because if all you talk about X's and O's, it ain't going to last very long. You have to talk about other things.
Perk been saying that for months. Perk been saying that for months.
All right.
So again, yesterday when I did that video covering the Redick podcast with LeBron James, you heard Stephen A. saying, Perk been saying that about LeBron and JJ's podcast for months. Shannon Sharpe brings up JJ's podcast. What does Draymond bring up? JJ and LeBron's podcast. So there are some factors there where LeBron hasn't appeared on quote unquote his guys and guys that have been doing him good service in the media as elevating his name, to the Jordan GOAT debate. Now, LeBron's done a lot by himself playing, and really, his accomplishments are top tier, right? But if you look at Michael Jordan, it's just his peak, man. His peak was so high, and he won when he finally got over that hump, he won every year that he played other than the Orlando year where he came back and was it late March, and kind of just went right into the postseason, and they weren't able to get over the hump. But I say all that to say those guys really have been saying LeBron is that guy. And I'm pretty sure Shannon at different times probably didn't ask him to come on Undisputed, obviously, with Skip Bayless over there. But since he's branched off and been doing his own thing, you would have to think that Bron is one of the first people he reached out to try to get on his platform. Everybody wants Bron on their platform, especially if they'll go do Bron's platform. He was going to the Lakers games, after really riding for him in that Ja Morant thing. This is what Steven Jackson was talking about. Bron isn't going to do certain things for you just because you out there trying to fight for him. And so I think they're seeing that now. Perk didn't necessarily have a podcast with Bron, but maybe some business stuff with Clutch. Maybe, who knows, right? Maybe Perk just speaking his mind and saying what he truly feels. Like, everything don't have to be blanket. I could think he's the best player, and I could think he got this isolated incident wrong, or I may disagree with him on how he handled this instance of whatever this was, right? So, whatever example you want to use, right? But Perk ain't got to agree with LeBron all the time, and LeBron ain't got to like what Perk says. Hey, it happens. But Perk felt some sort of way that Rich Paul reached out to him, and he has the relationship he's had over the years with LeBron James. And this is probably why Stephen A. Smith has always kind of maintained his position on LeBron James. And I know people that are his fans are going to say people are hating. And I guess, that's a stance you could take too. And it could, maybe they could feel some sort of way, feel slighted or whatever. But, it is what it is, right? I ain't got no dog in the fight as far as who's right and who's wrong. They have to work that out, because only the people involved know the particulars of what may have occurred behind the scenes or lack thereof or whatever, right? So, yeah, man, I thought this was interesting, though, just to continue to follow up on what we've been covering over here with LeBron and Perk. And I think it's important because Perk has been at the forefront. I remember Paul Pierce and them were getting mad at Perk and KG at one point. Now KG seemed like he acting like Perk, and Paul Pierce is the only one really, that critiques LeBron at this point. KG is kind of bowed out and has been watching his tongue with what he say about LeBron James at this point, man. But I ain't gonna hold you too long, man. Just want to share that with you. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.